Hello and welcome back to Custom Gamer. My name is Daz and this is the show where we talk about level design while playing cool maps. Today we're having a look at yet another SOC Quake 1 SP. It is called the Ivory Tower. It was released a week or two ago. I finally got around to doing a video for it because it's a very interesting map to have a look at. It's very non-linear. It's got lots of routes that you can take through the map and not a lot of guidance, which turns out to have caused a few problems with it. I myself got very lost the first time through the map, mainly because I was just searching around all the different areas and I didn't really want to progress down a lot of what looked like one-way passages, which ended up causing a lot of problems for me. But we can talk about that as we get into the map, so let's go. So I think any self-respecting Quake player is probably familiar with SOC's work by now. He's released Midnight Stalker, a great Quake 1 single-player map. Of course, his stealth super mod In the Shadows, which is still in active development, has been a smash hit with the entire Quake community, I believe. And then, of course, recently we've had his fantastic Quake map, Backsting Gothic, which is one of my personal favourites of the year. And now he's back with another one. Of course, you can tell it's SOC because we've got the GL nearest texture filtering, which is a really interesting visual choice. I actually really like it. I'm going to start using this in more videos, but the pixelated textures actually looks quite nice. They're really sharp. And of course we've got the ammo boxes and health models from In the Shadows, which are used in this map as well. Pro tip, you can delete the pack1.pack and you'll just get the standard texture filtering, and the In the Shadows models will be removed if you don't like them. So if you don't like the texture filtering or the new models, you can just delete the pack file and you'll be ready to go. So I like the fact that the skill select is actually part of the map, and then you kind of go either forwards or back in time to actually play the map. I thought it was a nice touch. So you've got this large courtyard here, and there's always, no matter what kind of chamber you're in, there's always feels like there's a couple of different routes you can take from it, which is what I was kind of getting at the non-linear nature of the map. So you can kind of see a lot of different ways to go, even just in the first area, and it's kind of left up to the player to decide kind of where you want to go first, what looks interesting to you. And the biggest problem I had with this was just that there was just so much choice and so many places to go and see, which you'd think would be excellent, but I think it ended up causing a little bit too much choice. There wasn't enough guidance. Some things that people have suggested are things like adding gold and silver key kind of arrows to the walls, which I think would have been a great addition, would have really helped here. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of that. There's a couple of them kind of in the main area that we just came from. When you're kind of down in the bowels of the level like this, there's really not a lot of guidance at all. And the biggest problem I had was that I'd pick up a silver key and then kind of go off exploring all these different corridors and routes and completely forget where the silver key door was, and just desperately looking for some kind of guidance to find my way back there, and never really found it. Now you can see there's a lot of architectural detail here, lots of kind of broken stone and outcroppings. There's some lovely attention to detail with the brushwork, things like the train tracks on the floor with mine carts full of what can only be assumed to be gold, I guess, or some other kind of precious mineral that's being extracted from the bowels of the map here. I love the fact that this architectural detail is actually used for part of the gameplay as well, so you've got like secrets that you have to climb up on these rocks to get. Of course, SOC's obsession with demon doors. So you can find these demon doors. That one's already open because I found the button to open it up there. But generally, if you see a demon head on the wall, there's usually a way to open it. You have to kind of find a button or some secret. Secrets is something SOC has always done really well. There's some great visual language kind of explaining how the secrets work. You just have to kind of notice it and pick up on it and then work out the small puzzling segments to get to it. Usually it's just kind of a hop and a jump onto something to find out how to get there. There's a couple of more insidious secrets in this map. So you get lots of these shortcut activated areas where you'll activate a lift or a wall will come down and it will give you kind of quick access to another part of the map. This is where I had a couple of problems on my first playthrough, is that I'd see that I activated a shortcut and I'd go down the shortcut to see where it went, and I'd end up getting very, very lost like that because there's so many lifts and things like that in this map. So we just grab the silver key. Gonna head on over to the silver key door now. Got to say, after playing this map through a couple of times, the navigation does get a lot easier on kind of your second and third playthrough. But yeah, the first time it was very, very confusing. You see, there's a little bit of signage here for the key doors, but not really a lot inside the actual map. Another thing I really, really like about SOC's maps is the combat. It always feels very, very tactical, and you really feel like every point of damage you take actually matters, whereas in a lot of maps there's just kind of health everywhere, ammo everywhere, and it's a lot more based on kind of horde combat, and kind of if you get caught out you're probably going to die because you're going to get hit by 100 ogre grenades or, you know, something like this. And while I do enjoy horde maps to a large extent, I really, really enjoyed the change of pace in SOC's maps where, again, like every single encounter feels relevant because there is a very finite supply of health. I like that. I like to feel that like there are consequences for me messing up an encounter and taking an extra 1 or 2 grenades from an ogre that perhaps I shouldn't have. Whereas in most maps there's a fair amount of leeway with the amount of damage you can take. There's always a kind of surplus of health to go around. Even on hard mode I find. Another thing I really, really like visually in this map is the rock work. Not only is it beautifully made kind of structurally, there's some really interesting use of textures here as well. So if you're familiar with the hammer editor for Half-Life 2, you'll know about displacements and the fact that you can paint the displacements. You can blend between 2 separate textures on a single displacement, which lets you do amazing stuff with rock work. Now, obviously you can't do that in Quake because there are no displacements and there's no way you can blend textures together. So SOC's actually created special textures which blend between 2 different textures and use them for a lot of the rock surfaces here. As you can see, like overhangs and things like that, the texture will change. And it creates a nice little highlight in the rock work. Really helps pick out the shapes better. It looks really, really nice. It's used in a couple of different areas and yeah, it looks fantastic. I love the kind of change in texture style between, you've got the mines here which is very, very kind of runic. Lots of these demon doors and things like that, and it feels a lot different kind of up above where you've got this lots and lots of kind of medieval stonework and things like that. It's quite nice. Another thing that can be quite confusing on your first time through is that there's a lot of kind of places like this where you can kind of see into other areas, or kind of fall down into other areas that perhaps you're not quite sure perhaps if you've been there before. A lot of the areas can look a little samey, which really doesn't help a lot with navigation. You kind of get used to it after a while. Again, on like the second, third playthrough it's not as much of a problem, but yeah, I did have a lot of trouble distinguishing where I'd been before on my first playthrough. I feel really sorry for SOC because I know he watches 99% of the demos people send him, and the demo I sent him was like, I think it was about 25-30 minutes long, and about 15 minutes of it was me running around trying to find the gold key door. Incidentally, it's really interesting reading the release thread for Sock's maps, because he generally talks a lot about what he's learned from watching all the different demos that people send him after playing the map, and it's really interesting read from a level designer's perspective. You can actually learn a lot just from reading what he picks up from everyone's demos, the kind of things he's going to change in the future because of that. It's a really great read. It's a very long thread for all of his maps actually. The threads always get pretty huge, but they're always very interesting to read. Opening up some more shortcuts. Oh, I love this rocket launcher placement here. So you can't actually jump up onto the altar just with a standard jump, it's too high. And there's nothing kind of obvious to get up there, which I really like, because it gives the player some options. It makes them kind of improvise and think, well, how am I going to get up there? So you've got this little kind of altar here, and probably some elite Quake speedrunner jumper can probably make that jump, I don't know. It looks like it's just about doable, perhaps. Of course, you could use a grenade jump if you've got a grenade launcher to jump up there and get it. And there is actually a very well hidden ledge on the side of the altar as well, which you can jump up on to get up. Which is probably the way most people did it, but I just think it's great that there's lots of different options just for something simple like that to grab a new weapon. And of course it's a rocket launcher, so players will definitely try and work out that puzzle to get it. This is kind of a leap of faith secret. I don't know what made me make that jump. I did the same thing on the first time I played through the map as well. It just looked like there would be a secret behind there. It's hard to explain it. I guess it's probably kind of a sixth sense thing for Quake players. They just kind of expect there to be a secret behind there, I guess. Wonder how many other people found that perhaps don't play Quake that much. So this whole area up here is one giant secret area, and again you've got lots of different ways you can drop down from it into different areas of the map from here. So again, it's expanding a lot on the whole non-linear nature of it. You can drop down into so many different areas, so just so much choice. So that jump there down the lift is the jump I hesitated to make the first time playing this map. I would have found the gold key door instantly if I'd just jumped down there, but I ended up searching around 3/4 of the map that I'd already been through. Again, something simple like a gold key door arrow on the wall above the lift there would have really helped, just to solve that problem of hesitation. I figured like it would be a one-way trip. I wasn't quite ready to move on. I thought I might have missed something earlier in the map. You feel that a lot throughout the entire map because there's just so many different rooms and ways to progress. You always feel like you're missing something, which I guess is why a lot of people hesitate on moving forwards through these what feel like one-way areas. Get some infighting here. I think it's pretty obvious who's going to win. No point placing bets on that one. So you notice here there's various packs of cell ammo hidden. I haven't found the lightning gun, I don't think. Maybe I found it on my first playthrough. I actually found less secrets on my third playthrough than I did on my first. Mainly because I was recording this demo for you guys. I didn't want to spend another 15 minutes searching everywhere for secrets. So all this broken rockwork here you're seeing is actually from the mines. If you look up in the mines, which I may have shown you, I can't remember, but you can actually look up into this area and then you can fall back down from this area to the mines just by going down there. So perhaps with a well-timed grenade jump you can probably make that jump up into the gold key room. It's probably an interesting speedrunner's shortcut perhaps. So the gold key door is fairly linear from now on. You just enter the final arena, and of course in true Sock fashion this is a fantastic arena with of course a crusher mechanic. Sock's favourite thing in the whole world. This crusher mechanic is very, very similar to his other maps, especially Backstein Gothic. But I love the mechanisms here built in brushwork that kind of raise the pillars up and down. You've got this giant kind of mechanized contraption here, which feels like it would work. It looks like it would actually serve this function very well, which I like a lot. Of course, grabbing the runes starts us off. The thing I love about this arena is that it starts off fairly slow paced. You get a couple of knights here and there. Nothing serious at the start. But the intensity just kind of grows and grows and grows until you're fighting off just hordes of enemies. The other thing I really, really like about Sock's arena design is that it's not forcing a crusher mechanic on you. It's not saying if you don't use this you're going to die horribly. It's just kind of a, use this if you want, it'll probably help you, but I'm not going to force it on you. If you just want to run around with your guns, then that's great. The other thing I really, really like about the crusher mechanic is that you can actually doubles up as a line of sight blocker. So having the two end crushers in the down position actually can really, really help you later on in the fight. It just provides you this huge line of sight blocker from various enemies like shamblers and Vors. Even these scrags it's fairly helpful against. So yeah, all in all it's a fantastic arena. Then as these pillars on the sides open up, of course you're losing line of sight blockers, which is another really interesting aspect of the arena. The gameplay changes as it progresses, which I really, really like. We've got the final wave. Again, using the crusher as a line of sight blocker against the shambler is super effective. Unless you're bad like me and end up eating all the lightning anyway. I've got a little bit turned around here, that's where I came, so we want to go this way. Which brings us to the exit. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this map. Again, I just feel like people might get very, very lost the first time through. And perhaps that could have been avoided with some better signage. But aside from that, it's another fantastic SOP map, which I recommend you all play. Alright, I'll be back next time.